Welcome you all here this afternoon. Appreciate you being here early to keep things going. First order of business is a roll call. If you would do that, Hillary, please.
Commissioner D'Amico?
Present.
Commissioner Faber? Here. Commissioner Hudson?
Here.
Commissioner Meredith?
Here.
Commissioner Lay?
Present.
And for the record, Commissioner Lay will be acting as chair of this meeting in the absence of Vice Chair Resnick and Chair Scher.
Next item of business is a pledge to allegiance. Would you all stand, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So our next item of business is the approval of the agenda. Any issues or challenges or difficulties?
I
with the-
approve.
I will second.
You want a motion approval?
I mean, I motion.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, read my mind.
Sorry. I was reading your lips. I'm sorry. All right. We have a motion and a second for approval of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Do we have any public comment today? Samantha?
With no members of the public present, no, and we did not receive any electronic public comment either.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hillary. Okay, we'll move to regular items. We have two special issues we need to address.
I think we missed 5, approval of the minutes.
Oh, I was in a hurry, apparently.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought you were coming back.
All right.
I did just want to note before you vote, the packet on the dais had just one slight one-line change in the minutes from what I had emailed out to you, which was around the name of the person they will be a guest at the movie in the park.
Oh.
So nothing of substance, but I did want to point out that's why you had the replacement packet.
Yeah. All right. Any comments, changes to the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move to approve.
A second?
Second.
That'd make you third, Judy.
Okay, well,
Okay, we have a motion to approve with a
time's a
second.
charm.
And thanks, and a third for regularity. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
Okay, so recognized as an abstention. Okay, now the regular items. Thank you, Samantha. The first item is we need to appoint, First item is to cancel our regular meeting set up for September 1st, which is a holiday, Labor Day, and call the special meeting on Monday, September 8th at 2 p.m. for the annual Yountville Arts Planning Retreat. We need a motion to approve this. Any questions about this? Any concerns?
I have a question.
Yes?
This retreat is at 2, and then do we have a regular meeting at?
No, the retreat will be our meeting for
Okay,
that month.
okay.
We'll cover some items in there, any necessary items in the retreat, but it'll be mostly focus on planning for the next year. So it'll be a combination, really, of our regular meeting and the planning meeting.
Great. How long is it expected to last?
About 3 hours?
Yeah, usually we try to wrap up between 5 and 6. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Go 2 to 6, just to
That's what I
safe.
did.
Yeah.
So yes,
Awesome.
I would move that we adopt this change.
I second that.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the alternative meeting on September 8th instead of the regular scheduled meeting of September 1st, and that would go from 2 until 6. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. It's unanimous. The second item of business is that the Yountville Community Foundation Board has as its makeup a member of the Yountville Arts Commission. And so we need to find a commissioner who is willing to serve. It's a 2-year appointment. Is that right?
yes.
Yeah, here it is, for a 2-year term. Read the final print, Jeffrey. Anyone interested, do we have anybody who has volunteered that you know of, Samantha, for this?
No, Rhonda said if there was no one else interested that she would step up, but of course she has a lot going on as well.
does.
So I did put in the staff report, information on how the foundation operates. It's a quarterly meeting. They just had their first what I consider kind of a real work project last year, which is the Imagine Yountville grant process, where we do call a solicitation for applications. They review them, they award grants, but otherwise the operations are pretty perfunctory in nature. It's looking at any new funds and then just overseeing the monthly accounting reports. So.
And do we then do a report to them of our commission, or do you do that?
Not typically. So unless something changes from the fund activity or the intent of it, we don't usually give the board an update. Yeah.
I would be interested in being on the foundation, particularly since it does grants.
Fabulous. Anybody else interested?
No, that's wonderful, because I did review all of the information and kind of what it entails, and I didn't really think I was the right person cut out for it. So,
Yeah, I do grants regularly as a researcher.
Well, I think we may grant you the opportunity as well.
Thank you.
So, someone want to make a motion?
I'll move that Linda be appointed to represent the Arts Commission on the Town of Yountville Community Foundation Board.
Great. Thank you.
I second that.
Have a motion and a second that Linda would be appointed to the Yountville Community Foundation Board for the 2-year term to represent the Yountville Arts Commission. Thank you very much for volunteering for that. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Because you'll be serving if you do. I'm sorry.
Thank you,
Okay.
Linda.
Cheeky monkey today.
They gave me the mic.
I know. Give
it's
a
the
boy a
problem.
mic, right?
I know.
Hey, I have a question, Samantha. So last year we started at 3 o'clock for the meeting, and this year we're starting at 2 o'clock?
For the special meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, just trying to get out a little earlier, if that's okay. Does that work okay for you? Okay.
I'll make it work.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Again, Linda, thank you for volunteering, and thank you all for supporting that and getting this taken care of. I was worrying we would end up pushing this back on Rhonda, so I appreciate that. Okay, Art Fund report.
All right.
Yeah,
Go with that. So,
please.
Enclosed, I did some analysis on the fiscal year end. So our fiscal year, for those who may remember or new, is July through June. And so we have pretty much what is close to the end of year report. There should be, if anything, some minor changes and cleanups as they do the end of year audits. But I did some explanation. There's a lot of paperwork in there, so I'll go through it. And if anyone wants to spend additional time with me outside of the meeting just to get better oriented to how our budgeting works, I'm happy to do that as well. So we have a 2-year budget cycle. As you may recall, we implemented that last year. So we're in the second year now, as of July 1, of that budget process. So we'll start that again, most likely in January, looking at the next 2 years. And so when you're budgeting for 2 years out, you're really just, doing your best to plan, right? So we're thinking, we hope to do this, and that's what we're going to plan for. Sometimes those things don't come to fruition. Sometimes we decided to do something different and utilize some of those funds for something else. So just keeping that in mind as we work through, just because something didn't come to fruition doesn't mean we failed. It just means during the budget and planning process, we were shooting for something and then it didn't end up coming to fruition. So going through I referred back to what we were doing for our program planning budget report, because I think that's what's of most interest and relevance is, what did we plan to do programmatically, and then what did we end up doing? So again, a couple of things to note. I think the good thing is overall we ended the fiscal year spending less than our planned expenses, and over coming in over the revenue that we had budgeted for. So that's overall. So I think good. It's all good. This is all good news. So I also just wanted to remind you that we have two funding mechanisms that we regularly use. The general fund, which is everything that we do except the art walk. And then we have the Art Fee Fund 23, and that is the art walk expenses. So the recap of that planning budget doesn't differentiate between those, and I really focused on the programmatic division of how we budgeted, so we'll walk through that. And the recap doesn't match what the funding, the finance report is, so you can't really compare those two reports apples to apples, because one is really the hard cost, the other one includes full-time staffing benefits and other overhead expenses. So we'll walk through those in more detail. So breaking it down in the general fund, overall our expenses for Yountville Arts totaled $135,132, and then the revenue was just under $70,000. Again, that does not include the art walk. We ended the year slightly under budget for revenues in the general fund, so that $70,000 we had actually budgeted closer to $80,000. But we also came in under budget for expenses. So we had budgeted $178,338, and we only spent $135,132. So there was savings there. And then, so we obviously, because of those numbers, we spend more than we bring in, and so the general fund, the council approves a subsidy of that, which means they're saying, you know, we're giving you the difference. The actual subsidy this year was just under $56,000. So we like to be really transparent with the council when they're approving our budget, that these are programs that you're subsidizing, and they agree to that. And so that subsidy this year was, like I said, just under $56,000. So the Art Walk Fee Fund, we had planned to place 6 sculptures, and we did. The expenses for the Art Walk were just over $48,000 last year, and then revenue totaled $30,105. So we had a balance in that account of just over $13,000, and then we did end up having to transfer $4,800 from the general fund to subsidize and allow us to cover all the expenses for the year. And so for our new commissioners especially, the Art Walk Fee Fund, the money for that is hopefully going to always come from a 1% valuation on all commercial building permits. And so anytime we have a commercial building permit pulled, they pay 1% of the valuation of the project into that fund as a deposit. They can choose to place art with that money, but up until now, no one has chosen to place art. And so when the project is final, that money gets moved into this expense account that we can then use to fund the outdoor sculpture, the art walk. We have seen a decline in commercial building permits, especially ones that kind of hit that level that's really going to show a large influx of money. And so we knew this year we were going to run out of money in the art fund, and we did. And so the council's approved subsidy included perhaps having to subsidize the art walk. And so for this year, that subsidy was just over $4,800, which is pretty low. Going into next year, it's most likely going to be quite a bit higher. There was an unplanned expense of $25,000 to the art fund, and that was for the major maintenance project of Chaos Pamplona. Thankfully, though, the Yountville TID funded us with $25,000 last fiscal year, which paid for that. So the Tourism Improvement District gave us $15,000 as a one-time funding for that project, and then has allocated ongoing funding of $10,000 a year. So that's going to help us a little bit to continue to fund the art walk along with the general fund subsidy. So just to put it in perspective, the 1% of the commercial building project fees that we transferred last fiscal year was just over $5,000. It's not very much.
So, Samantha, can I ask a question? So, is it, let's say the subsidy now has to be substantially more. Is that something the town council still has to approve, or is it?
They've approved it for this second year, yes.
And what was the amount they approved, or did they just approve a subsidy that?
I have to go back and look. I think when you broke it down, I think the subsidy for the art walk was about $25,000. So in year 2, I had allocated for just about full subsidy because I can see this trending down of the commercial building, and then our fee fund has trickled down to nothing, and so it's pretty much. I allocated for full subsidy in this second year because it was also prior to the $10,000 commitment from the TID.
Okay, so they approved based on your assessment of what you thought the subsidy needed to be.
Yes.
Okay.
And that would be for 5 sculptures to be placed in this fiscal year. So the expenses we see for the art walk include the stipends that we pay for the artists. And then we have started offering reimbursement for travel or shipping costs. We also have maintenance. And then we also have installation costs, like if we have to bring in a crane or something. And then the plaque and marketing is really the expenses that we charge to that. So there's no staff time or anything like that that gets assessed to it at this point either. So the third mechanism that we don't generally draw much from is the Town Yountville Community Foundation Art Fund. And so each year when we sell art, we receive, usually it's a 20% commission on that. And so at the end of the fiscal year, the money that we've made from selling art goes into that Town Yountville Community Foundation Fund. And there is flexibility within that fund to do projects, or it's been used to purchase art in the past. And so you'll see an item later on with a suggestion of how to utilize some of that money for a maintenance project. And so that fund balance, we're able to transfer over $10,478 at the close of the books. So that was our 20% commission on art sales. And that would bring that fund balance to $76,522, which is pretty significant. It went from 0, when we started. So that's great. So I'm going to share on my screen just the detail. I took our budget report. This may look, where did it go? Hold on. Please hold. I have 2 screens I'm working with here. There we go. I took our budget report that we worked on when we built, and I took out some of the detail of it, and trying to make it so you can see it, but things are getting skewed. I took out some of the detailed line items and just have in the gray, which was what we budgeted. So the first column is our budgeted expenses. The second was what we budgeted for revenue. And then in the yellow is actual expenses, so how we're ending the year, and then actual revenue. So we'll just quickly go through these and how these are our programmatic sections that we use to plan and budget in. And so marketing, we came in a little under budget. We spent just a little bit less than we had anticipated. And that was writer support and graphic design that was broad. So it wasn't specific to any particular program. And that was a new budget item, and we did spend some of that. Performing arts and other events we grouped together. So we didn't spend as much for Legacy Roundtables, and we didn't bring in as much, but we did less of them than we were budgeting for. So that ended well. Scarecrow contests, our parade float. We had talked about a spring contest that we didn't end up coming to fruition. Movie in the park. And then we budgeted for some pop-up on the plaza music. And then the totes and bags were actually a new expense. So that was added in there. So overall, in performing arts and other, we spent less and we brought in less. So that's good. I think we did some really terrific stuff.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
When you talk about revenue, are you talking about like ticket sales and other things related to the events, or
yes.
what? Okay.
Yeah. So for this, like Legacy Roundtable, for example, there's a ticket price there. So that would be that revenue. Movie in the park revenue was the concession sales, for example. And then totes and bags is our selling the totes and bags.
And is it generally a goal to try to get the revenue to cover the cost of it, or is it just an expectation that it's not going to do that because...
The expectation is that it's not going to do that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. sometimes we charge a ticket price just because it brings more, in people's minds, it creates this value in certain ways. I mean, there is a goal to, I think, sometimes recover, if there's an expense for food or we have to buy wine or supplies. But overall, I mean, you don't even really see the staffing costs and some of the overhead in this. It's very, programmatic, focused, hard costs. So, but yeah, our goal is, I don't think has ever been to fully recover the costs, with the exception really of Art Sip and Stroll, which we'll get into that in a minute.
So does the revenue, such as it is, just go back into the general fund as a lump sum?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, overall in performing arts and other, I think we ended in a positive place. The art walk, we talked about and how that's funded. So last fiscal year, we budgeted 6 placements, which means 6 artist stipends, and we achieved that. We budget for every person to request reimbursement of shipping or delivery. Not all of them do. And so that was under art walk plaques. So every new sculpture gets a new art walk plaque, slightly under cost there. And then installation costs, like I mentioned, so that's things like renting a crane or a lift or things like that. And then just miscellaneous other supplies if we had to do some sort of repair. We budget marketing out of here because the 1% fee fund allows us to, and that's where we do print maps and the graphic design for the map, as well as the online audio tour. Those expenses come out of there. We budgeted for sculpture purchase this year. We didn't purchase anything, so there was no expense there. The Chaos Rehab project, that was a new funded source, and so you'll see that expense there, and $15,000 revenue that came in that was specific to that, the one-time funding. Maintenance, so we do now, for the last 3 months of the year, we have monthly maintenance, which means a monthly cleaning that's happening of all of the art walk sculptures. So that cost is there. And then we also have the mural washed every year. So that's what the maintenance expense. And then I did add a revenue line for the TID funding of $10,000, and then the 1% that was transferred last year. So overall, we were over budget on our expenses of the art walk. But as I explained, that was unanticipated with the Chaos project. But outside of that, we were under budget. And then the revenue. Moving on, so gallery shows, we planned for 6 shows. Our expenses were down in all areas for for gallery. So that ended up in a really good place expense-wise. And then, of course, we don't charge anything for any of those gallery shows or the receptions. Literary was the bookmark story contest. We came in right at budget really there for expenses, and then we didn't plan on it, but we did receive a $500 donation from the Friends of the Yountville Library to offset some of that, so that's revenue that came in. And then overall literary events, I think those are really anything we were talking about potentially doing or being jumping on a bandwagon that was coming through town or something, so we never really know what could come up through that. But we I don't know what that expense is. What did we do outside of? Yeah, there was something on my list. We did something that's not listed below for $684 in expenses. I can't remember.
That Rex Pickett.
Oh, maybe.
Author.
Yes, that is what that is. The Rex Pickett author talk.
Probably what it was.
Yeah, it was just the food and wine for that.
No.
Or marketing.
Yeah, I was going to say, because all the wine was donated.
Yeah, it was the food and the marketing. Thank you. Improv classes, we didn't have any expense. Writing celebration, little bit. Everything really came in under budget. And so very, very minimal change there. So Art Sip and Stroll is our largest expense every year. And so as you were asking, David, this is one area that we really do try to recover all of the hard costs because, the event isn't as much, of course, our residents definitely take advantage of it and love to come to it. It is an event to promote the artists and art in Yountville, but we try really hard to recover our costs. So you'll see that the expenses for that event have gone up over the years. We had a really interesting year this year. We just had our recap meeting recently, and things are costing more, and so we were slightly over budget as far as expenses are concerned, and our revenue did come in slightly over, but tasting package sales were definitely down, and but we did make more in booth fees because we invited, I think it was about 24 additional artists this year. We expanded. And so it is interesting to note, though, we don't make, we actually lose about $107 per artist booth. So the charge that we charge artists, which is $350, doesn't even cover the cost of the tent, the table, and all of the rentals. So we continue to subsidize that from the earnings we have in other areas, which is the tasting package sales, and then the tourism improvement district funds Art Sip and Stroll specifically for $10,000. So if you're keeping track, we're getting on an ongoing basis, we're now getting $20,000 in funding every year from the Yountville Tourism Improvement District, which is terrific. So if you ever see or meet their board members, feel free to thank them, because it's nice to have that.
I have a question. What do you think the tasting packages sales have been down this year? Any idea?
It was just an interesting year. Our pre-sales were down significantly. And I think it's just, I talked to a lot of people in different event industries, and it seems like that's kind of common. People are not spending as much money on things that aren't necessary, holding it a little bit tighter. And we just, didn't have the amount of sales.
It actually would be consistent with what's happening with a lot of the wineries and other.
We discussed that at length in our recap meeting and leading up to it. And I've talked to other event planners, and this is pretty consistent across events.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
I mean, all in all, we ended on a positive note. If we make, a little bit of money on Art Sip and Stroll, it's great. We ended up, I think, just over $3,000. So that's positive. And going into next year, we're going to strive, to keep things pretty similar to this year in looking at, different small ways of enhancing the event. So. Also, we started last year the Mustard Celebration event, and that's in partnership with the Chamber. We planned for much larger expense for that we didn't end up having, so that was great. And all the revenue the Chamber collected, so we didn't get any revenue from that either, but obviously the expenses were significantly less than we had planned. Find Your Heart in Yountville, we did spend a little more on that. Most of that was marketing, and so we had that large ad in the 50... I can never remember the numbers. 68, 57?
65, 57.
65, 57 magazine. And then the cost of the hearts themselves and some other marketing we did. So, but overall, again, that area landed under budget. So total expenses, if you're just looking at these programmatic hard costs that I covered here, we ended the year under budget, and our actual revenue was over. So all things are really positive. And I think going into our retreat, we can continue to discuss these areas of programming and how we see them evolving in the future and getting some good ideas going. And then knowing that our new budget planning for the next 2 fiscal years will start in January. So it's kind of these rolling things. The budget really sets your course for what, the programming will be for those 2 years. And so we kind of start with our September retreat and talking about it, and then really put the teeth behind it in January when we plan for the numbers. And then that new year will start in July of 2026. So,
Sam, I have a couple questions. Yeah. First of all, is there in most companies, if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes back into the general fund. So it's not that, we lose it, but the town does not lose it, but it just goes back into the general fund for the future.
Okay. And what about, I'm looking at the Art Sip and Stroll, and I'm curious why the marketing doubled and we still had less sales. That seems like a huge jump from 6,000 to almost 13,000.
Yeah, so we just really threw everything we had at marketing the event. We tried some different scenarios than we had in the past just to see what would land. We obviously have been losing a lot of our more local marketing efforts, and so, we had placed some larger scale ads in larger marketing materials that cost more. We were just trying everything we could to get the word out. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Given the result of that, would you consider, are you thinking about doing that again in terms of the expanded market, or?
No, I think what we learned was that some things work well and some don't, and especially around data where you can collect it is really where we're going to focus our money. And so Caitlin and I did a lot of things internally where the decisions could be more data-driven in the future, and which we honestly didn't get those results from, what I could consider to be a fairly significant contract from a local media source, that had a lot of promises, but the data isn't there. So having collected that, and we talked about it in our recap meeting, we definitely will be approaching it differently in the future. Yeah.
I think it was probably a worthwhile experiment, though, in terms of exploring other possibilities. And if the data aren't there, we don't follow it. But I think it was probably a wise thing to try.
And so honestly, we did what we had done all the years before. And then as we saw how slow pre-sales were and visitor traffic, then we were like, we've already signed that contract, and we thought, like, we need to pivot and do some different things because this isn't working, but we're in contract with these people. And so, it was definitely a learning experience. And we did some other things that were a little higher cost as far as magazine ads and things like that, which are more difficult to track as far as data, but we're also going to be looking at that differently by using specific QR codes on our magazine ads so that we know exactly how many people are driving to the website from that. You can create QR codes that gather specific data. On traffic use, and so we're going to be looking at implementing those anytime we do print ads, because I talk about my data nerd stuff, and so I really look at those things as decision making tools, and so how can we better utilize it? So.
And thanks for doing all of that and narrowing it down as much as we can. Yeah,
marketing's a crazy place.
And I have one other question.
Yeah.
Why not throw it all out there?
Throw it all out there.
So the totes and bags, how are they doing?
So they're doing okay. I think we're seeing a little bit of a pickup. We just sold a few more at Music in the Park with some announcements being made. We are consistently, we have, I don't know, do we sell anything on this Saturday? I didn't see the paper yet. No. Okay. So we have them for sale at the community center all the time. We have them for sale during the Saturday hours. So, we're just plugging along and doing our best. I think our goal is to have them out at every event that Yountville's doing, or Yountville Arts is doing. So.
Yeah, I saw a little girl buy one.
Yes, a bag. It was adorable.
She was darling. She was so excited.
Yeah, and we're trying to do more online posts and stuff about their availability. So
I've seen those. They're very nice.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So the last part, this is the typical report that you would see from finance. So when I say it doesn't match the programmatic budget report that I showed you, just know that this report from finance includes all of those overhead costs, like for full-time staffing and those types of things. So, but overall, again, ending the year in a good place. So our revenue was slightly down, and but our expenses, as far as this is concerned, were pretty much in line. When you had asked about the subsidy, so the town council actually adopted a subsidy of $99,188 for Yountville Arts last year. So that includes the staff time. We had the new half-time position that goes to arts, which is Caitlin, and then subsidizing any of the programming, including the art walk. And so we did not have to draw on that whole $99,188. The actual is $55,981. So, and what I want to really call out about that, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but I feel like it's super important, is that we've gone from like zero, when I first started with Yountville Arts, to this. And what this really shows you is the town council is very supportive of the work that you're all doing, and they put their money where the mouth is. When they're saying, we know the Art Walk Fund isn't doing well, let's make sure it continues. And we believe in the programming that you guys are all doing, so let's make sure that it's funded well, and let's give it staff. And so, $100,000 subsidy is not a significant amount. And so I hope you know that, in all the other ways the council tells you as well, but they really do, appreciate and buy into the work that you're all doing. So I just wanted to say that.
And I think we're all grateful for it too, and feel that kind of support from the town council. Yeah.
Can I ask a sort of a tangential question?
Please.
Has Brad done a budget workshop yet for that 2-year? Is Brad going to do budget workshops for that 2-year planning process? And
Yes.
have there been any sort of conversations about forecasting that either trend up or down from the point of view of the town?
So usually like I said, in January, we'll start the staff process. And so I know behind the scenes, a lot of analysis is going on and how that will be directed. But I have not heard, because we typically as staff get sort of a directive that, it's going to be status quo, or we need to be looking at, trending down or something like that. So I have not heard that as of now. Obviously they're working on the end of the close of the fiscal year. But I don't think there's any huge red flags at this point. But I definitely, as we go, like I said, the step process, we'll talk about what we want to do in September, and then January, when we really hone in on the budget, is when I will also know, what are we being directed to do.
So we'll do the workshop based on a status quo, and then we'll adjust up or down probably down. If usually don't go up, it's usually the other way.
Yeah. Things go up naturally, it feels like, right. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, and I think we have room to do that. Like, this was our first 2-year budget process, and I really pushed everybody to say, pie in the sky, what is it you would want to accomplish? And it may be more reasonable to say, well, we thought we were going to do 4 of these, but really we would just want to do 1 every year. Or we thought we were going to do this, but we're not going to do that. So I think I'm really happy with our first 2-year budget process and this first year to see where we've landed. I think it's a really great exercise in planning for the commission, because it's something we do internally with staff, but there's no other commission or body that really operates the way Yountville Arts does within the town as far as actively doing these projects and work. So it's a great exercise. But as soon as I know those forecasting thoughts, I will share them. Yeah.
And Sam, you're the most amazing director. And you really helped us through that process last year. And it was so easy working with you on that. So thank you.
And it was very helpful for me in terms of the each subcommittee having some budget to look at and to plan with, and say, no, I really want to move here or there. So it was extremely, from my point of view of the subcommittee issues, I think it was very useful and helpful to kind of plan on what is most important and utilizing funds most effectively. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just wrap it up by saying, we are in a good place going into this current fiscal year. The Art Walk Fund, although unfortunately is really at a zero balance, we have budgeted for that subsidy, and we now know that ongoing, unless they change, obviously the Yountville TID votes on an annual budget, and they've agreed to this being ongoing funding. That could change too, but it's really great to have that little bit of money from them for the Art Walk. And then, of course, the town council subsidy. So, and if we get into a place where we are looking at how do we, cut budgets, then we kind of go back to our core and, what are those things we really have to maintain per the bylaws of the commission. And it's the art walk and the gallery, and everything else, we have to look at case by case basis. So, all right. The last page in there is just the 1-page report from the Town Yountville Community Foundation. So. I did also include the budget sheets for 25-26. I know some of you may already have this, and I'm happy to also send this alone electronically, but it just helps to remind you of the current budget year we're in, what we've budgeted for what. So again, it was a planning tool. We may or may not get to that stuff, but just so you're reminded, that's what we have planned for.
On that budget, Samantha, I really like the part-time staffing and supplies and materials and other things that are included in that, so we get a sense, while we don't typically talk about or see that.
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to be aware of that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for entertaining my long speech. And I know Rhonda And I will follow up on this, and I'm sure she'll watch too, that she was very eager to talk about the budget, so.
Yeah. Any questions or further comments about that?
No, it was very thorough.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Okay. So we'll move on to the Art Walk Subcommittee. Samantha, are you going to present this? Thank you.
Yeah, so Rhonda had sent over her report, and I'll just go through it quickly. So we did install triangular squares by Thomas Ramey in front of JCB, so hopefully you've seen that. And then I know the plaque is coming. And then Rhonda wanted to remind you, so she is on her way to Loveland, Colorado for the sculpture fair as we speak. And so the only time we've had to call a special meeting on a weekend is when an artist says, yes, I want in on the art walk, and I don't want to ship this home. I want to ship it directly to you. And so that means we have to vote quickly. So just keep in mind, I should know, I mean, at the latest Thursday, if we need to have a special meeting over the weekend. So I will reach out to you all for a time to hopefully have a quorum, because we would have to approve accepting an art walk sculpture and for that to happen. So we've done that once and it was successful. So Rhonda just wanted me to make sure and mention, so the third week of each month, all of the art walk sculptures are cleaned with the exception of Chaos Pamplona because it's too big. But the agreement we have with Napa Valley Support Services is working really well. So you may recall me explaining that early on. They work with developmentally disabled adults who they are in contract with places like Napa Valley College and Napa County out at the Crossroads. And so we have an agreement with them to come once a month and clean all of the art walk sculptures with oversight, and then they make money doing those tasks. So it's actually working out really well. It's a terrific agreement, and I think we're all very happy with the outcome.
And they look nicer, I think,
yes,
having done that once a month too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, road construction happens right after they come and it's dusty again, but at least once a month is great. And then, so we're going to talk about this in the next item, but we're looking at potentially the mural touch-up. So that's the following agreement. And then Rhonda's also looking at, we had looked at the potential of having chaos waxed every year. So we're looking at how to get that done on an annual basis. As you recall, and I talked about in the budget last year, we did a major renovation of Chaos Pamplona after, about 10 years to get it kind of back up to par. So we're looking at the cost of that annual maintenance that's, far surpasses what we've been doing in the past to try to maintain the bronze.
Embarrassed to ask, but
Yeah.
I can't remember that one. Which one is it?
Chaos is the one between the community hall and the Bartisono.
Oh, okay,
There was
the
big bronze
okay.
one, yeah. We also are waiting on the new art walk pad on the Carboni property, which is JCB Plaza. That is where Cornerstone wanted the patio where Sarvanga was, and so the Carbonis who own the property are putting in a pad closer to Washington Street. So that's going to happen anytime, and then that's where Sidewalk Musician, which is the Seward Johnson piece currently in the gallery, will be moved in September. So we're waiting on that.
I think that'll actually be a plus for us being closer to Washington. I know that I liked where it was, but I think people would often miss that. And
No,
so
I
think
agree.
it'll be-
Yeah.
I actually attended a meeting with the Carbonis last week. I had never met them in person because they don't live here year round, and it was really nice to be able to thank them in person because they've been very supportive of the art walk with the piece in front of JCB and then the other one as well. So it was nice to talk to them. So,
Nice.
yeah. So that is the general update on the art walk.
Okay, and we then have a request to review and approve the expense not to exceed $8,000 for repair and maintenance of the underpass mural. And there were several photos that were included in your packet to see what the issue in terms of repair
Yeah.
and why that is needed.
So unfortunately, this was mostly visualize, like we could see it after the latest Caltrans project of last winter over the overpass. We've had it cleaned, and he actually used a brush to the extent he was comfortable, and these marks are not coming off. So we had sent videos and photos to the original artists, and they said they would come up over a few days. They thought they could take care of it in a couple days, and it would charge us $5,000 for the cost and then travel and lodging. So that's where the $8,000 is coming from. And again, they estimated 2 to 3 days worth of work. The request is to use the Yountville Community Foundation Art Fund, which at the end of the fiscal year has just over $76,521, and this would be a not to exceed amount of $8,000.
And I really like that mural, actually. I think it's very fun and very different from the rest of our art walk material or sculptures. And it seems like a reasonable amount for what they plan to do with the money available. So any questions or further discussion about this?
Is all of the construction work done? Everything's done now, right? On that overpass area?
That current project is done. Yes.
Okay.
So, Caltrans is they're not super communicative in advance, but I do think because they basically rebuilt the overpass and put up new guardrails that we should be in a pretty good place. And they had done, we're almost 10 years now into the mural. They had done maintenance before, and it just didn't have that impact. I'm tempted to say it had something to do with when they put the concrete in, and it may or may not have been a wet day or something. I think this may be concrete runoff. So
there's acid in concrete.
Yeah.
That would.
So the artists felt pretty confident that it's not a huge undertaking for them. We'll provide the lift, which we already have. And I worked with them, the first time around, and they're really terrific to work with. So
Okay.
Because we had talked about, well, if the expense is so large, do we look at a new project? But I don't really think it. $5,000, $8,000 is nothing. I think 10 years ago, I think we spent $135 on the mural. So nowadays, that's going to be significantly more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So do we have a motion for approval of the $8,000 for the repair of the mural?
I still make the motion.
All right. Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve an expense not to exceed $8,000 for repair and maintenance of the underpass mural. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item of business is the gallery subcommittee. And you'll see in the report that we need some volunteers to help take down the Seward Johnson Trays exhibit on Friday, September 12th. Partly that's the end of it, and we have a new one coming in on the 15th, so we do need some help getting that done. I'm not going to ask for volunteers. I'm just going to ask volunteers to contact you. Is that all right, or do you want to put a little pressure on the group?
Yeah, we already have Jim lined up, and I know Rhonda's been asking, so.
Okay.
And
Because
then
I was going to
David-
say, I would like to volunteer, but I'm just not sure yet if I'm going to
Yeah.
be here that day, so,
I already told Caitlin.
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's great.
That'd be
That's
great.
great.
Our calendars.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I have it on my calendar, but I can't promise given the the appointments that happen on
getting my
Friday
bubble wrap
sometimes.
ready.
Yeah, yeah. And you work on Friday. It's going to be hard for you to get there, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
it's a sale day. I can't.
Thanks for your desire anyway. Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
If you know anybody else around who
am I
might
the
help.
only one who's not retired?
No, I'm not retired. But mine's a flexible schedule. Yours is not. Yeah. Anyway, if you know of others, I think Caitlin would appreciate the more the merrier and the easier the work to get that done. It took us 7 hours to get it up, something like that. And putting all those on that Michael spent hours with you
And
doing.
there was some zip ties to use, so we're going to be cutting and taking down a lot of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a long day.
Yeah,
So more hands, the better.
absolutely. Thank you all for volunteering, those who could.
So what do you think the hours will be for that day?
When do you want to start? 9?
I mean, I'm going to be getting started right when I get in the gallery, so probably about 8 a.m. But I'll probably, I mean, it's dependent on how many people I get to
Yeah.
help, but it'd probably be at least 4-5 hours of
Okay.
packing.
And if you
So
could be there at 8, that would help
You
keep
can
things
come in
going.
I'll
later.
come right from the,
8
I'll come
a.m.'s
right from
early,
the
I get
swimming
it.
pool.
Okay. Yeah.
Come after
Even
walking
be
my
there
dog.
at 7 if you want.
I'll be there all day, so
Yeah.
you come when you can.
8 is the earliest we'd start, though,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
that
okay.
would be the earliest.
Yeah. Okay, so the following Monday, the 18th, Loretta Loyder, her exhibit will go up, and Caitlin has been working on some publicity for that. That looks very nice. I saw that today, and so that'll be our next show. That'll be up until November 28th, and then the annual Youth Art Show will be begin on the 4th. It will be set up on the 1st, or hung on the 1st, and that will remain until January 9th, roughly the usual time for that exhibit. And then Photo Finale will come in on January 22nd. Michael is taking the lead on that. I think it's going to be a very interesting exhibit. And the nice thing from the gallery committee is that he's doing all the organizing of that. And so I think that'll be a very fun event. And also down there are the visitations that are starting to happen on Saturdays, thanks to volunteers.
Staff.
Staff
Part-time
volunteers.
staff.
Yeah, full-time, all right. Staff working on that day.
Yes.
Yeah. But I assume they had to volunteer for a Saturday too, right?
Yeah, no, they sign up to do this specifically, and Caitlin has trained everybody who's working those shifts.
Yeah, and I really appreciate having that covered. I think it's a really nice thing for us and the exhibits, but also for the community to have access to that on the weekend. So, and I think these numbers encourage us to keep doing that.
Yeah, so we will be closed this Saturday because we have a private rental in the community hall. So
Okay.
it will be closed this Saturday.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, we've been doing really well keeping it open every weekend.
That's
So-
great.
That's so nice. Well, because with the weather being nice and there's so much foot traffic, and
Yes,
so
exactly.
yeah, it's perfect.
And I have to say, because I walk the dogs every day, because they are hospitality hounds now. But we do the art walk, and just the enthusiasm from the visitors for everything.
Everything.
Walking in and coming, I hear them talking as they're coming out of the gallery. I see them stopping and looking at, Chrysalis and all the things, and it's just. It makes my heart feel so proud when I see that, and I see that every day, like 5 or 6 times a day.
Yeah. I did just want to say for our new commissioners, the photo finale show, when we say Michael, is Michael Scher, who's Rhonda's husband. But he's organized this show for several years working with different galleries in the Valley. And so he's bringing it to our gallery this year. So he does a juried photo call, and then they pick the artists and he works with them. So it's really great for us because he does it all. And then we actually partner with the Chamber of Commerce to do the Mustard Celebration event, which is also the grand opening of that show at the community center. So last year we were kind of the kickoff event for mustard season in the Valley. And you may have seen there's kind of that over the last 2 years, a reinvigorated emphasis on mustard celebration and season through it's really stimulated through what's her name,
What's
the lady who owns the gallery in Napa.
I can't remember.
It's a
Sewell?
Jessel.
Yeah.
Yes, Jessel
Thank you.
Miller, right? Yes, yeah, Jessel Miller in
That
Napa.
celebration
Yeah.
last year was crazy packed.
Yeah, we're working on our plan for this year, but it's very full. So we'll see if we want to spread out between facilities and things like that. So we're still working on it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Any questions? Further discussion?
Is there a plan, because I don't see anything on here, every time we do that mustard, like last year we did the artists collaborating, is there a plan for what we're going to do this year? Like
That
Arts.
the exhibit, photo finale, will take the place of that one this year.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
it's not going to be at Jessel, it'll be here.
It's
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I actually participated one year and gave a photo to the photo finale. It actually sold.
Nice.
I didn't win, but it sold.
Nice.
Great.
Look at that.
I'd say you won.
Did we earn a commission on that?
It wasn't our show, but we would this year. 2026.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the literary subcommittee.
Would you take the liberty of handling that, please?
I will, thank you. The bookmark story contest has done quite well this year. We more than doubled our submissions, and we went from one youth submitting to 24 stories. So I'm really pleased with the way that has gone. You'll notice we're going to do a celebration on September 25th. And you'll notice in your packet a new piece of media for that Rhonda helped develop working with a local artist. And I just really like this. I think it was a lot of fun and very
It's great.
enticing. So we will do this, and we will have we were going to have 5 winners, 3 adults and 2 youth. But with all the submissions, we ended up allocating more funds for winners. We're going to have 5 adult winners, 5 honorable mentions, 3 youth winners, and 3 honorable mentions. And so instead of 10, we'll have 16 total from the youth and adults. We'll have this. They will each read and talk a little bit about the process at the celebration. We also have our collaborators, the Napa Valley Library. The director of the library will be there, and Alan, representing the Friends of the Yountville Library, he's the chair of that group, will also be there to talk a little bit about why they're invested in this project. So I think it'll be quite fun. We're letting those who will be winners or honorable mentions know, or special invitation for them to be there, but everybody will get an invitation to join. We also are going to have a ticket available for free. It's a free ticket, but just to give us some idea of how many might be there. I said something about in my email. We want to make sure everybody has a seat, so please let us know. And so we'll be doing that as well to get some sense, because I have no idea how many we'll get for this turnout.
Jeffrey, how are the winners determined again?
There were 4 reviewers, and each of us scored on a rubric, using a rubric score of 15 points. Those individually, and then we just added the points together for the total scores. And some people higher, others a little lower, but those people who won pretty much had it across the board of all 4 people.
And then what are their prizes?
They'll get a plaque for that, and $100 cash would be the winners. The honorable mention will get a framed certificate for that, and both of them will participate in the sharing of their story at the celebration. The winners also will have, I think we went with 300 printed bookmarks with their story on the bookmark. And those will be available at the Napa Valley Libraries, or Napa County Libraries, except St. Helena, who is on their own, because St. Helena. And so they'll be passed out during the year for that as well.
Sweet.
Any other questions or comments about that? We held another handwritten out loud event. Again, it was sold out. This was on July 20th. Had a couple of people not be able to make it, but it went very well. People seemed quite pleased, and we'll do another one in 2026. I've set up the time for the Yountville Out Loud for September 11th, which is an interesting day to be holding this, because could get some very different kinds of readings that day. But I thought, in fact, it might be kind of fun to actually do it that day on purpose after checking with a few other people around that. So that's been set up from 5 to 5:30 and will be held in the community plaza.
5:30 to 7, right?
Yes.
What did I say?
You said
5 to
5.
5:30.
That's a little short,
Yeah, I was
isn't it?
gonna say, everybody gets 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, well, that's where I am right now. But yes, by then we'll hold it from 5:30 to 7. Thank you, yes. Any other questions, comments?
Good job, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, our next report is Marketing and PR Subcommittee.
I can give
You're
that.
going to take care of that? Thank you.
Sure, for Noel. So the written reports in there, we did have another feature article in the 6557 magazine about Loretta Loy Adair's show. That's for their fall issue that's not out yet, to my knowledge. They interviewed Loretta and sent some high-res photos. So this is not a paid marketing. This was a story that they're running, which is terrific. And Caitlin worked a lot with Noelle on that. And then the Chamber newsletter continues to promote the Midnight Stack trays and our weekend hours in the gallery. And then Noelle, and thank you to Tim as well, who is Noelle's partner, went through more than 1,000 photos that we got from the photographer for Art Sip and Stroll, and then finalized and selected a select few for ongoing marketing use. So,
Right.
Great.
Thank you so much. Any questions, comments? Okay, Performing Arts Subcommittee. Who's presenting this?
I guess I will, since I submitted the report. We've got Bottle Shock set up for Friday, September 5th in the park. And Judy and I worked together to secure Bo Barrett from Chateau Montelena to come and be our host to introduce the movie, similar to the way that we had Rex Pickett last year, who introduced the movie Sideways. We also were successful in securing Stag's Leap along with Chateau Montelena and Gurgit Chill's estate. They were the big three that inspired the film, so they will all come and pour. We'll have tables set up on the side, and they will all come and pour complimentary wine from 7 o'clock up until the start of the film. So we're excited for this. I know last year was our first time doing a more adult-themed movie in the park, and it was super successful. So I think this one is going to be even bigger and better. I think this is a great choice, and I'm excited. Sam, thank you for supporting us in this.
yeah, of course, we're doing the same free ticket sales kind of thing online, and we've been running some paid advertisement on social media. I checked last week. I haven't checked this week. We were up to 117. So
That's
pretty cool.
fantastic. Yeah. So I think it's
going to be a great turnout.
It'll be very well attended. So we're hoping for good weather. It should be. But yeah, it should be a super fun night. So, and then summer concerts are rolling along. Last one we had was the Traveling Wilburys Review, and that was hugely attended. It went really well. We even did sell a few caps and tote bags, as Sam mentioned. That band always just does such a good job. Their sound is good. They interact with the crowd. They're top notch. So they were really a good one to have. So our next one coming up a week from this Sunday? Is it this Sunday?
It's this
It is
Sunday.
this Sunday. Okay, that's right. We have the Fog City Swampers, and they actually were a part of it last year, and they were very well received. And so a lot of people had asked that we bring them back again. So we are, since they were, so popular. Next thing, the Scarecrow contest. So I know last year, the first year when we kicked it off, it was super successful. And I think last year, maybe we didn't have quite as much community participation, but I think sometimes we overextend ourselves in what we're doing. But I think this year we're ahead of it enough that I think we should be in good shape. And we're excited to kick that off again and hopefully have all of the fall decor in the plaza like we have before. It just looks so festive and inviting, and I love it because it's something that lasts through the whole season. It takes us all the way through, Thanksgiving until we take it all down to decorate for Christmas.
And Larry the plumber has volunteered to help set up the pumpkins
I
again.
cornered him at Music in the Park. I was like, hey, you going to help Judy with the giant pumpkins again?
I love it.
Yes. And then I did send you guys the press release and stuff, so we're all set, right?
Yeah, so it jumps off. Our rec guide will be out the end of this week, and it's in there, and then we'll have that all updated. And usually we roll press releases out about 30 days in advance. So.
Okay, so we're all set. Anybody wants to create a scarecrow to add? Are you going to do a contest again
I'll
this
try to
year?
create one. I know last year I didn't, the year
the
before I
voting.
did, but I'll try to do one this year.
We can work on it together.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, did the Vets Home participate?
They have not in the past. We would love that, though.
So,
I will ask them next week when I'm there to see if anyone's interested.
That would be great.
Oh, we did have a group the first year, not last year, though.
well, you know what? So I was going to, I guess, if it's all right, I was going to bring this up later under commissioner comments, but maybe just because we're talking about it now. I've visited now 3 times in the last few weeks, just taking a morning walk and going through the Vets Home property, going into their art center there. And it's spectacular inside.
Yeah, David
there.
works there. He teaches.
I didn't
so
realize
he's
that.
a score for us to make this connection.
Well, so Ron always gives me the personal tour when I go in there, and I've met everybody in there, and they've all taken me around and showed me all the stuff that they work on and everything. And they had even said, oh, if you want to come and participate in classes, they said, even though it's really designed for the vets, they kind of said, really anybody would be welcome. And they were, when I told them I was on the Arts Commission, they were all kind of chomping at the bit, like how can they be more involved with us and how can we be more involved with them? So maybe that is something that we can take to them, and I bet they would love to create scarecrows using their different mediums for the contest.
I wonder if it wouldn't be worthwhile for us as a commission to go to that art.
I was going to suggest that maybe we have some kind of a field trip day or something that we could do that. They were asking, like, is there some way that we can develop a flyer or something that would, I mean, I don't know that it's our place to do that, maybe, but they were asking for our help anyway in seeing what we could do to maybe move something forward, because they want people to come and visit that art center.
Yeah, so
Has there been a change in
no, there hasn't. So that's the tricky part, is I think the residents crave the visitors, but that's not the administration's current position. And so it still is a closed campus. So, but we can tour as a visitor. So, I mean, I went up there, I don't know, it's probably been a year now, and with Roberta, who is a staff person, and I was touring and meeting. I definitely think we could set something up for the commission to be visitors, but and work towards whatever capacity we may be able to connect. I think David is currently an instructor, a volunteer at the Art Center, and so I think it's a great connection there. And every year we get a few more veteran artists at Art Sip and Stroll, and we kind of, we were really trying hard on. We have the pad at Veterans Memorial Park that's for sculpture by a veteran, and we kind of started working, but we didn't quite get there. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I know the new administrator is finding, different ways for there to be more interaction, because that is part of health and wellness as well. But we're not quite there yet. But I do think, having any connection and for you just to all see it, because it's incredible what they have up there. And then the level of art and artists. You know, they have that whole sculpture garden behind it. I don't know if you saw that, but it's pretty impressive. So I can, we can work on a trip there.
I just think it would be fruitful for us to see it as a group, and so
Absolutely.
we can talk about it among ourselves, and then talk with some people there, possibly. And with your connection, David, it sounds like a great.
Yeah, and I think including their administration in that too, so that everybody's on the same page. Because I get nervous about getting ahead of conversations with the residents about what we can and can't do when we don't know that. So, but I do know that we, the town and of course the Arts Commission have a desire to have more connection. So we could start somewhere.
Yeah.
I love that you're an instructor there.
I know.
They just drop in. I mean, I'm not doing it. I did last summer. I did like a watercolor.
Yeah.
Kind of a whole class. Now, I've been volunteering there for I think 4 years now. I did the big mural on the other side of the garden.
Yes. Okay. I saw
the
that.
whale, but they just drop in on Thursdays and we paint. So it's great. It's awesome. They're really good.
I love it.
Really
Well,
good.
I feel like
I'll
the
work on
timing of
that.
all this is really good. So, yeah.
I can work on that and get maybe some good times working with their staff, and then see when commissioners are available. So
So you'll take the lead in that?
if that's okay with you,
That'd
if
be
you're all
great.
right with
Yeah.
that.
Then in the meantime, can we coordinate, though, with, the residents that are over there utilizing the center to see if they want to participate in creating scarecrows?
Oh, absolutely.
If you give me a flyer, if there's a flyer
Yeah.
or something, I'll bring it and I'll ask Sandra. You might have met Sandra. She's sort of I think Sandra's kind of the boss of the Creative Arts Center. She's sort of the one everybody goes to.
Okay, I think maybe I did meet her.
She's the one that paints all the blingy things.
Yes,
She's
yes.
got a little dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, we can send a flyer out. I have one from past years, and we'll update all that and
Okay.
get it up there.
Fabulous. Okay. Awesome.
And then if it, blooms into something more than that, great.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
And
to
then-
start somewhere.
There's just one more thing that wasn't on here, and that's DJ. Our DJ is going to be Jeffrey, and we're going to do the You Think You Can Dance contest, and it's going to be an evening under the stars. You want to talk a little bit about that, PJ?
Well, so we haven't, though, selected a date or anything for that. So I think that it's just, we're in the planning stages of that, but I don't know that
If you could give me a date as soon as possible, it would be helpful I could then block it out.
Yeah.
I assume it's in the evening.
Yeah, we want to do it in the evening in the community
Yeah.
courtyard, and we're going to have a flash mob.
Okay.
Just a local, and there's a bunch of people that do that kind of stuff, the dancing, and I saw a bunch of it online from the picnic days.
From the community.
Yeah, we got to get together
National
and
night.
organize it,
Yeah,
but that's the other thing that we're.
I guess
Yeah,
I was
we'll
just
talk about
keeping-
dates.
Yeah, because I was just keeping in mind that, we do have, like, the Town of Yountville Residents Bash. We've got a lot of other things coming up, so I wasn't certain if we would have time to fill that in yet this fall, I guess.
We'll keep talking about it.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to compliment you both in terms of the organization of this film.
She's awesome over there.
Yeah, I know that. I've worked with her. Yeah. Just getting Bo Barrett to introduce this, I think, is just going to be such an appeal. And then to have the three major wineries that volunteer
Well,
to serve
I
wine.
will say that Jim, who was one of our bartenders, he knows the general manager at Chateau Montalina, and then the people at Stag's Leap. So he really helped quite a bit as
Oh, that's
well.
great.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's all in who you know.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And they
Absolutely.
did say that barring some, harvest emergency or
Right.
something.
But
So,
that never happens. Yeah.
But I mean, even if something happens and he can't be there, I'm sure they'll have someone that can come,
Yeah, the
from
general
and represent
manager
them. Yes.
is very fun.
But the
so-
plan is right now that it will be Bo, which is super cool.
fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great that all the wineries are participating.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
they
I
were.
will tell you guys, working for a company that supplies wine, we get asked so often for stuff, and it's really, you have to pick and choose who you're going to help. And we just had that discussion, like as a company, and all three of them were on it.
Every single one of them was like, we are thrilled
Within-
and honored to
within, like,
participate.
10
We can't
minutes.
wait. Yeah. Yeah.
Got the replies back. So that's really, it's a big deal, I think, so.
And Mike might get his due, even though he's passed in this.
He deserves it,
Yes, he
right?
does.
He wasn't
Absolutely.
really recognized.
Well, and I feel like how cool to be able to offer an event like this, with the film, with the wine, with
Absolutely.
the introduction and all of that, just like we did with Sideways, at no cost. It's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
Good job.
No, thank you, Sam. You're the one who.
It's not my idea. I can make anything happen.
Well, thanks
And I
for
think
making it happen.
I think the response of the tickets is an indicator of
I think people are
people's
excited.
Yes,
excitement
this is a
about
popular one, so I think this is a keeper.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to build this in next year, and one of the things, and I guess we'll save that for our planning meeting, but maybe we'll have time for 2. If we aren't doing 4 roundtables, maybe we can do 2 films.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were thinking too that, there's only so many wine movies out
Yeah.
there, right? But we could do like theme nights. We know that this town loves a theme.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
So anyway, yes. So that concludes our report.
Yeah, thank you.
So official.
There is no mustard celebration subcommittee report, so we'll move on to Art Sip and Stroll.
This will be brief. So I keep putting the 2026 date on there. It's May 16th. We did have our subcommittee recap meeting where we went through A to Z, things we want to change a little bit next year, discussed marketing as we already talked about, and then, some feedback on the music placement and kind of discussed other ideas of potential ways of enhancing the event and continuing to create the draw. And so we're going to kind of vet those things through. And overall, I think we felt like with the strange year in our, world, that overall, it was a success. We didn't lose money. Most of the artists were really happy and appreciative. So, and that's our main goal.
Great. Thank you very much, Samantha.
Absolutely.
So in your packet has also been included some information about the Yountville Arts Retreat for September 8th. One of the things that is in there has to do with the subcommittees and the membership of the subcommittees. Those are as of last year at the retreat. And of course, 2 of our commissioners have now moved off of the commission, and 2 more have moved on. And so particularly, I think all of us want to kind of look at and think about where do we want to focus our emphasis and our attention next year, and that can move around, and we will talk about that at the retreat towards the end, as I recall.
Yeah, usually. So what's included in there, I confused someone, is I did include last year's agenda, all of the notes from last year, and then the subcommittees, just so, especially for our new commissioners, but those of you who, may not have this at the top of your files, can just review that as we head into it. We'll spend a little time, going back and obviously looking at what our goals were and where we're at, but just to kind of orient you. It is going to be held at the Villaggio, and so you just go in the main entrance at the Villaggio and they'll point you to the boardroom. But if you, I will prepare an agenda and a packet for you that I'll send out ahead of time, and of course post an agenda, and we have to post at the facility as well. But it's not a recorded meeting. But we generally try to keep, and this was David's question earlier, unless there's some super pertinent item that you need to vote on, we tend to not go through these general updates or anything. We just focus on the retreat. So, and I facilitate it because that's what you guys have always preferred. Coming out of it, though, I'm always happy to have your feedback. If you wanted to go in a different direction in the future, it's no skin off my nose. But I do enjoy doing it.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, as you're reviewing, especially David and Linda, as you're reviewing the information from last year and you want to sit down and go over or talk about anything, just let me know.
So is it at the state?
No, it's at actual Hotel Villaggio. Go into their, that bar main desk area, and then they'll point you. It's right off the main desk. Yeah.
Okay.
I have just a question maybe about the retreat.
Yeah.
So I know in the past, we've just kind of delved in, but I don't know, I always feel like some kind of an activity, maybe to like get everybody's creative juices or get people to loosen up or something might be
Okay,
something.
I can do
Just a
that.
Tequila
suggestion.
shots or something like that? Is that what you're suggesting?
You want an icebreaker?
Yeah, something like that.
Get to
Okay.
know people.
I think so.
Throw
It-
people
yeah.
in.
Especially because we've got two
New
new
people.
members, and so I just think
Yeah.
it would be nice, but maybe
Absolutely.
something a little lighthearted.
Okay.
You know.
That I can do.
Okay.
And I also have to say, Sam, thank you for going over the budget in detail, because for the 4 years I've been on, we've never done that, and I thought that was excellent.
Yeah. I like
Because
that
there are a
too.
lot of things that you need to catch on and learn, and it's hard, so.
Yeah.
And it's timely for the retreat as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so yes, thank you for that. It's very
Right.
useful.
We will do an icebreaker of sorts
Thank you,
and
Sam.
then get into the business.
And we had a request for something tonight, and I didn't write it down, so I, of course, forgot about it, but I'm not
You.
going to let it go. I think it would be nice as an ending for this. We have two commissioners not here, but as a start for this, to just go around and introduce ourselves to each other and the commissioners, and sometimes it's even useful for people who have been working together to find something new as well. So maybe include something that the commissioners may not know about you in
Is
this
this like two
introduction.
truths and a lie?
No. We'll play that game later
Yes.
in private, not when the speakers are on. Yeah. Judy, do you want to begin?
She doesn't want to
Okay.
begin.
I gotta think.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can
Sure.
begin. Sure. PJ Hudson, and I've been on the Arts Commission, I guess, 3 years now. So I remember what it was like being the new person and coming in. But I'm excited that you guys are here. Geez, I don't know. What else? Is there something?
Give us your background. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm retired. I worked for Vision Service Plan for 34 years. They're a global eye care company. I was in sales, and I managed a sales team for much of that time. I helped corporations put in our insurance benefit for their employees so that they could go in and get eye exams and glasses and all of that. Great. It was a great company. It was a great career. I made a lot of lifelong friends and just, I feel like, developed good patience and good negotiating skills.
And what interested you in becoming a member of the Arts Commission?
You know, when I was for a long time, I've written poetry and written some things, along that nature. I've always, enjoyed the arts and am a creative soul. When I was in college, I worked on our program board where we booked all of the speakers and concerts and things that came to the university. So kind of similar to what this board did. And actually, when I moved to California, I thought that would be the type of work that I would be doing. But then I kind of fell into my career at VSP and all of a sudden found myself there in an unexpected place that just kind of took me in a different direction.
And so my husband and I had a discussion about your name last evening over a glass of wine. I was telling him about who the commissioners were, and I said PJ. And so we had a contest to see what PJ stands for.
Oh, it stands for PJ.
That's it?
I guess you both lost.
I guess so. That
a
is
good contest.
Yeah, that was a good contest. Yes.
Yes.
I enjoyed my glass of wine. Thank you.
David, would you like to share a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm David D'Amico, and I live here in Yountville in Rancho, and that is the best place in the world to live, I have to tell you. All the places I've lived, I love that place. So I'm from San Diego. I lived there for 37 years. I went there to go to college and stayed. I've been married for almost 43 years. My wife's name is Kelly. And I'm retired from public education. been a teacher and a school administrator and a director and executive director, and I don't want to do any of those things except teach from now on. So I spend my time playing the violin. I'm an avid master swimmer, and I'm a fine artist. So there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, welcome.
happy
We're
to be
happy
here. Really
to have
excited
you
to
here.
be here.
Yes. It is nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm Jeffrey Lay. I've been on the commission, I think, 4.5 years. Live in Yountville, be almost 15 years this fall, or will be 15 this fall. And I'm an introvert, so I live in Bella Vista. That's the introvert group.
That's hilarious.
I used to teach, lived in several different states. Police keep finding me, so I have to keep moving. But I moved around quite a bit, can't keep a steady job. I hope I can with this one. I work at a winery now and love it. I was interested, I knew Jim McDonald. He and I had done some writing and sharing that together. And so I was interested in kind of getting on the committee for the Arts Commission for literary, because I wanted to kind of facilitate pieces of writing and presenting for writers in the Valley. I was active in the Napa Valley Writers for a while, so I've just really enjoyed the opportunity to create and work with my fellow commissioners, who are all great. And happy to be continuing to serve on here. Linda.
Okay. I've lived in Napa for 23 years. I worked on the board of the Napa Valley Museum for the last 7. I retired, and I immediately went to work with the museum. And the reason I wanted to work with the museum, I wanted to be involved in the arts with my hands on and fingers in it. Because I've been over here at the peripheral, I'm a consumer. We're consummate consumers of all types of art media. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to have my fingers in it. And so, but my fingers, even as a board member, I didn't feel like I had enough to do, because I was an international healthcare consultant. So I flew around the world to do my job. And of the 20 years before I retired, I only spent a month in Napa. So I really didn't live in Napa. I was a world traveler. And I beat the time zone because you could keep changing, and a jet lag never caught up with you. I learned that. Okay. And I really want to be involved in the Yountville Artworks, because it's such an active involvement with the community, and I love connecting with the community. At the events that we have at the Napa Valley Museum, I love being there at all the openings and talking to all the patrons that come in and encouraging them and all that. With the new museum, I also involved with actually doing some volunteer work, helping with take people around to show them that. So I really want to be involved. And so this just feels exactly what I was interested. I spoke with Rhonda about what commission was all about and what it might mean for commitment. And she was encouraging and thought I might be a good fit. And you all might be a good fit for me to keep me busy. Oh, and in my part-time, I play golf. And I'm captain of the 9-hole ladies golf group at the Napa Valley Country Club.
Oh, I love
Good
that.
for you.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Judy?
Well, I've been an addict for, no, I'm teasing. Actually, I said, I'm always the cut up. So I did say 4 years, but this is my 3rd term.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's 6 years.
So 6 years. Wow.
6 years. So actually, my husband and I have lived here for 33 years, and I am not retired because I have to afford his travel habits, in that probably will continue for a while. But I actually grew up in the Chicago area, and I have a degree in interior design. So I did that for many years until we moved up here, and 33 years ago there wasn't an opportunity. So I went back to the JC and got the viticulture, whatever degree, and then started in the wine industry. And I've been mostly in education, teaching, trade and sales. But now I actually run the employee stores for Treasury Wine Estates. So I have a great job. I love it. It supplies my wine habit. So I have the wine habit. My husband has the travel habit. There you go. But I like to golf too. And that's 2 dogs walking around all the time. I love this community, and I wasn't able to participate before because I had a job that made me travel 3 weeks of the year as well. So now I don't, and I'm happy to be part of this. And I love everybody in the town. It's such a great town.
Well, that's what's so nice, is being able to have an impact, in a
Yes.
community like this. Yeah.
This is a different impact than the museum. It's a far different impact, and this is the hands-on piece that I was looking for.
And more diverse in terms of what we deal with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
And I will say,
go ahead.
too, and I'm going to bring this up because I think this is important. I think, Jeffrey, you and I helped change the direction, and instead of just focusing on the gallery and the art walk, we introduced some new programs, and PJ came on and was really robust with that. And I think that we have a great opportunity, and I just love some of the new things that we're offering to people. And I think our residents love that as well.
Because they're diverse as well. Yeah, and their interests. Well, on behalf of the Yountville Arts Commission, I'd like to welcome David and Linda.
Thank you.
I appreciate you jumping in terms of questions and issues. We have a great group, and I think you're going to be a great part of it. And so think about how you want to participate as we talk about the future at our retreat. And welcome to the Yountville Arts Commission. Glad to have you here, and glad to have you both continuing as well. Any other comments, issues before the commission, before we adjourn? Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I want to stay. No.
You're welcome to.